Toll Road here, and I'm in Duluth, Minnesota, and we're outside the depot, the train depot. We're going to check out the North Shore Railroad Museum. Inside the train depot, they've got the immigration waiting room. Duluth was a big entry port for immigrants coming from Scandinavia. They got a list of some of the spots you'll see anywhere from Finland, Latvia, Poland, Serbia, Germany, Ireland, Norway, Sweden, England, Bohemia, Bohemian Rhapsodies, Yugoslavia when it's one country, Netherlands, Iceland, Bulgaria, Russia, even Canada, Croatia, Switzerland, Austria-Hungary. Pretty much everywhere around the world. Here I'm at the North Shore Railroad Museum in Duluth, Minnesota. Kids, buckle up. Going for another train ride. Buckle up. Taking a ride on the toll road. You can look in. Pretty lavish setting in this one here. This is a little above where they let me ride. Here's an oldie but a goodie, William Crooks Locomotive Number 1. And I really like the way this just looks like how you picture an old school train to look. This one was built in 1861 and was actually the first locomotive in Minnesota on the first railroad, which ran between St. Paul and St. Anthony, which they tell me today is called a little town of Minneapolis. With that smokestack and everything, it reminds me of like what you'd see on the Polar Express. And what do we have here? Is this a Pontiac Taxi Cab? Judging by what we have down here, no. This is a rail inspection car.
You can smell the clean. It's super cool in there. It doesn't smell too bad though, which is cool. I don't know what it is.
This is another one of the very famous trains in the collection here, the Mini Tonka, which served a lot of its life in the logging industry in Washington State, and after it retired in 1928, was lost in the woods for quite a few years before it was discovered, brought back to its home of Minnesota, and you can see it in the museum today. All right, here's the simulator. Toll House, what's cooking? This is the Northern Pacific steam-powered wrecker, and it's one of the few remaining steam-powered records in existence. Most of the other ones got converted to diesel. They use these when a train would derail. You bring this bad boy up there, had hefty lifting power, take you right to the site, pick up the wreck, the train moves on. In case you get tired of seeing real full-size trains, You're just one button push away from being able to see some toy trains. And toys are always better than the real thing. As I mentioned before, Road Trip Rich used to live in a caboose. This is the Duluth, Winnipeg Caboose, so it's a little different than the one he resided on. Nice heat, sink. Guess I'm allowed to climb up here. Here's my view from top of the caboose. Here's one of my favorite displays here. It's a DM and IR number 227. The biggest and most powerful steam locomotive ever built. And what's really cool about this, they got a couple buttons you push. And they actually show the gears and the wheels and the lights in motion here. So instead of talking about it, why don't I go ahead and hit that button?
Set number 1 on. Slide wheel set number 2 on. Number 227 was one of 18 Yellowstone-type Valley locomotives built by the Boulder Locomotive Works during World War II years 1941 and 1943. During its 20-year operating life, it hauled over 40 million long tons of iron ore from the mines of the Mesabi and Vermilion Ranges to the docks at Duluth and Two Harbors. This engine weighs in at 566 tons and stretches 128 feet in length. One of the largest and most powerful steam locomotives ever built, it is capable of developing over 6,000 horsepower, and it made routine work of handling 180 to 190 car trains, weighing more than 18,000 tons. As a contrast, number 227 had a pulling power 30 times that of the William Crooks, another of the smaller locomotive in the museum's collection. When working at full power, the 227 consumed 10 to 12 tons of coal per hour, and evaporated water into steam at the astounding rate of 12,000 gallons per hour. The big engine was restored for the museum thanks to the efforts of the Duluth, Mesabi, and Iron Range Veterans Employees Association.
There are also displays outside like the McGiffert Log Loader, built in 1923, logging crane used all around the U.S. Built right in Duluth, hometown favorite. This one was called the Reefer, and no, it wasn't hauling drugs. It was a yellow refrigerator car, the DM and IR 7128. And unlike modern refrigerator cars, this one used ice to chill. Now, there was another aspect of this museum I really liked. So you had all the rails down the middle, but along the outside, they had facades of the buildings like they were back in Duluth in the early 1900s. Really gave you the feel of you were there in the time frame. Heck, I even waited in line a little bit for the barber till I realized that, this isn't real. Looks like a Dayton, Ohio build NCR cash register to me. Do get snow in Minnesota. You need a big plow. Okay, now this is extremely cool. The Northern Pacific Rotary number 2, the oldest existing rotary plow and the 7th one ever built. I would pay very good money to watch this go down the rails and just blast snow everywhere. Very good money. Like $2. Now, I don't know if I trust this back alley doctor here. This kind of has quack written all over it. This guy is not on the HMO. Banker's hours.
That's going to do it for the toll road here at the North Shore Railroad Museum in Duluth, Minnesota. And I got a question for you. Who knows? Who knows where the toll road will lead to next? See everybody next time. And do some train hopping here. Get to my next stop.